Okay. Good morning. This is the April 22nd, 2025 RPRC meeting. It is 9:36, a little bit late. First order of business is adoption of the April 8th, 2025 minutes. They're attached to your packet on page 2.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Don't. Okay, first item of business is 10 North Lane for a new pool. I'll pull up plans. So this is for a new pool, as I said, at 10 North Lane. Okay. All right. So what we've got, or what we have here, is North Lane sits below. The property is rising. The house and the pool site sit on a plateau above the street. If you remember, the planning board saw a new house construction at the corner of North Lane. It was a tear down, new house. And we're gonna put a pool in the back, if you remember.
Yeah, it was
Okay, so-
way back, right?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the house that's above it.
Okay,
That one is below.
okay.
Okay. So it's not gonna be visible. So it's an odd or not a traditional orientation, right? The pool is sort of off to the side there.
I'm assuming it didn't because it's. What?
Yeah, you can't come. This is your application. Well, yes, you could be here as
Oh,
we
no, I didn't
discuss.
realize. I thought that was the last meeting. I didn't even know.
Come in. We're discussing it.
No, I don't want to be here. You don't need me to discuss it, right?
We don't need you, but you're here and it's.
I rushed over here thinking. Not here thinking.
Just don't vote. So I was just describing the situation. We've got North Lane below, house is rising, plateau at the top, and that house, which was a tear down at the corner, sits way below on this lot down here. And I was saying that this is not a traditional orientation, but there's steep slopes in the back, so there's really nowhere else to put this pool.
It's not in the front yard?
No, see, it's not in the front yard, so the town code defines the front yard as the closest point of the house to the road. So you draw a line, so this is the front yard, yeah. So since it's behind that threshold point, it's okay.
I don't know, I'm just sitting here. You couldn't cock that the other way?
The pool,
Yeah.
I mean, have it go,
Yeah, there's no room there?
there's room there.
Okay, just.
Christopher, any thoughts on that? Rotating at 90 degrees?
I don't, it doesn't.
I don't remember where the septic is on this site.
Let's see.
Well, that could be it.
Yeah, I think that's something else we had. We asked
Is that
Laura to locate it.
Yeah,
It's one of our comments.
so maybe that's fine.
Do we know where it is?
And then also, when you look at that rear corner of the patio, you turn the pool, you're completely parallel to the rear property line.
Mhm.
Yeah, so your variance doesn't really change much.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's the next point. So you've got the pool that doesn't meet the rear yard setback, and the new shed doesn't meet
Right.
the setback either.
Right. So there's no question, these folks have to go to the ZBA.
So
Yeah.
if you, Adam, if you look, so on the other side of the pool and the shed, what's that property over there? Is that a house, and how close is
Oh, let me
all
pull it
of
up
that?
for you.
You know, is that gonna be an
Yeah.
issue that it's that close to the
So this is
property line?
10 north.
And it's also built right on the steep slope, not far from that steep slope, you know, just, you know, the fence is an existing fence there now. That's right at the top of the slope. So kind of respecting that fence. A very difficult lot,
Mhm.
very difficult lot. I mean, the property line runs right through it in practicality.
All right, so this is a lot, and you know, there's just
There's nothing.
not much going on there. I mean, there could be in the future, but doubt it.
And the one to the right is the. other
This is the one we were, right, this is.
And
the-
their pool, if I recall,
Back
was gonna
here.
be back there, so
Yep.
that'd be, okay,
But there's such a great,
a great difference, yeah, okay.
yeah, so I don't think it's too bad, you know, the zoning board will have to deal with that. So we've got coverage issues, so you're above the coverage, that
Yeah.
needs CBA, the pool, the shed. We also need plans for the shed,
Okay.
floor plans and elevations, and that's gotta be baked into the floor area.
I think it is big, floor area, I mean, as opposed to gross land coverage.
Both,
I see.
Yeah.
I see, I'm tempted to take that shed off.
yeah, do they really need it? Don't they have a shed?
They do.
Yeah.
They do,
I mean, it's fine if they want it, but.
yeah.
Something probably nice about having it there.
Yeah, maybe for the
Right,
pool
right,
stuff.
right.
Yeah, it's not, you know what, you're going to the
The reason
ZBA.
I'm doing it, I'm going to the ZBA anyway. That's why I'm doing it, you know,
Yeah.
you know,
Um,
I'm not thrilled about it personally.
pool
but
fence detail. Equipment,
The equipment
show
also
septic.
the equipment creates another setback issue as well, because that's a different variance in the pool variance.
Mhm.
You know, the equipment is
Yeah.
another variance
Where are you putting the equipment?
behind the shed.
Behind the shed, so that's right on the line.
Yeah, look and see where it's,
yeah, I don't think you put it on there. You didn't. Yeah.
oh, maybe it came off.
Oh, no, there it is, filter
Oh, yeah.
pad.
Oh, good.
No, it is there, I missed
Oh,
it.
good.
Yeah, so that needs a variance.
Yeah,
I mean, how concerned are you, Sue, with the design of the shed? Do we
I
want
didn't see the
to,
design.
well, right, we didn't see it.
So, Chris, the
There is a-
chain link fence,
No,
that's in
it's
the
up
property?
high, the other
Yes.
people
So
are
they're
down.
doing
low.
that as a
Existing.
pool fence?
yeah, it's an
And you
existing,
got the backyards all coming together. I don't think anyone's gonna.
Yeah.
I agree.
see
It looked like nobody was gonna see it from.
I agree, so my inclination is say this, you know, has to go to the ZBA, but if they
They're
get.
building this shed or they're
Yeah.
bringing in a
I'm
shed?
sure
Bringing
they're
in-
bringing it
bringing it in.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's gonna look like a shed.
it's,
it's gonna look like a quaint, nice
Yeah,
shed,
yeah,
yeah.
so my inclination is say, go to the zoning board, and then if you get the variances, come back. I don't think it needs ARB or planning board here.
Chris, can I ask a dumb
Yeah.
question? Why are they
let's
keeping
not
that chain
overkill
link?
this.
I mean, right up against the pool.
Oh, no, Larry, no, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. That fence is being moved down, you see how it's being moved down? The new fence is that proposed fence,
It's small.
Okay,
yeah, no,
so the chain, so that's going away,
right,
okay.
and that's being built.
Okay, now that makes sense to me,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Basically, my line of thought here was like, go to the ZBA before. We go nuts with engineering, with the pool plans, you know, because I consider this to be an aggressive ZBA application.
It is.
You know, and what I did here, what Adam knows, but what I did here is these people wanted a diving board on the back. You know, and I removed the diving board and the patio behind the pool.
Mhm.
And you see that, the way I angled that
Yeah,
patio on the
that
back,
could give us.
that creates a parallel line to the rear property line, so as to minimize the variance.
Mhm.
That's why I did that.
I mean, just sitting
How
here.
large is the pool? Bruce?
What?
How large is the pool? What are the
18 by
dimensions?
18
by
36.
36, 18 by
Okay,
36.
so it's already.
When you're on site, if you actually look at their patio, they have an existing patio with raised walls on it in the corner right there. You can
Mhm.
see you don't have much room off that existing very nice patio before you get to the proposed pool patio and pool. There isn't a whole lot of room.
Why couldn't, maybe it's a dumb question, why couldn't they swing the pool, cock it like this way to the left and make it parallel to the existing patio?
Because-
And use that patio as, you
Yeah,
know,
I
as
know,
a lead
yeah,
out to the pool.
yeah.
And you might get, you might,
Yeah, thought about that.
fix your variance issues,
Well, you're not gonna fix your variance issues,
no?
you know, that you're still in the
Yeah,
range of the
maybe
setback.
right here.
But
Yeah.
you're not,
And maybe not as invasive.
exactly.
And I would say if that's, if push comes to shove and, you know, the homeowner didn't want
I mean, I
that.
think it would look better, but that's making,
Yeah, the homeowner,
They
it does,
know.
you know why?
they want it separate.
When you're back there,
Mhm.
remember, that property line, you can't see it back there.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, the practice here is that they're invading their neighbor's yard
Mhm.
from a practical point of view.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, right. So I actually came up with a plan, which is, I had suggested that this applicant buy property from the neighbor.
Hmm.
That was my solution. I said, you buy that property and your house is protected, you'll get every penny back. I said, you don't know, someday somebody could come along and literally put a fence through your backyard,
Mhm.
you know? But they wanted to avoid that right now. They weren't up to that. So this, like I say, this is the proposed location. If the ZBA doesn't bless this, then then they may not get a pool.
Okay.
Or you'll come back with some.
Well, we'll come back with an alternate plan. I mean, yes, if I turn the pool and try to, I can knock down those walls to incorporate the existing patio into the pool. And I mentioned that, of course, you know, knock down these walls, build it and make that one patio, then your principal social area, instead of two social areas, which you're getting now.
Right.
You know, but again, it does run into variances all over the place as well. You're still running into that rear yard setback. It's, you know, and this is kind of, and also where I'm building this pool here is the least valuable portion
Mhm.
of the property,
Yeah.
of the lot. So I'm transforming the invaluable into valuable,
Mhm.
and they're keeping their well-developed space. That's the logic behind that.
And to the engineering point, do you know where the septic is?
I forget now, to be honest. I forget. I have to find
Yeah,
out.
it's
What else?
Yeah, so we asked for the location of the septic, of course, stormwater, and I get your point about not going too far.
Yeah, I said, listen, I'll do the stormwater after I get the variance.
Yeah.
If I don't get the variance.
Yeah, otherwise you just.
Yeah, you're wasting time. Other than that, grading.
Yeah.
Trees, as you can see, there's probably trees in the corner, locate them. That was mainly it.
Gotcha.
What's the setback for a pool?
Same as a building and here.
That's an R1A, right, or R2A?
I think it's one.
It could be 1.5, it's like
We're
40,
looking at
50 feet.
1A.
Yeah, 1A, so
It's 40 feet.
40.
At least.
Yep.
Yeah.
How
40
close
feet
is
on the
it?
rear, 40 feet on the rear, 25 on
Well,
the
the
side.
closest is
How
6
close is
feet.
this pool?
16 feet to the,
So it's a pretty
it
significant
is,
variance.
it's an aggressive variance.
Yeah, and the shed.
The only thing that makes it
That's-
potentially viable is the fact that the neighboring property is
Yeah.
undeveloped back there,
Right.
they're all the way up front.
I
Mhm.
mean, the practical impacts are practically negligible on the community. The real issue is, I think, precedent for the ZBA, how far do they want to go with the variance?
On something like this where let's assume they
And
approve it.
by the way,
and
I
it's
can't
16
show up at the ZBA meeting either, just so you know, I can't be there.
No, if they approve something at 16 feet, do they have to notice the neighbors?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So the neighbors will get noticed.
Sure,
Mhm.
it goes to a public notice.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I thought.
definitely.
So it's just like planning.
Yes.
The same exact procedure.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to send this to the ZBA.
ZBA.
I'll say.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, that's kind of where I was expecting to go, so.
Yeah.
We'll see what the ZBA says. And I mean, if we saw the ethics board meeting recently, but I can't go from one board to another, which we already knew anyway,
We get a little carried away.
All right, thank you. Well, I rushed over here and had it in my calendar. I
It's worked
forgot,
out.
I forgot Larry was taking it.
That's all right.
Thank you, Larry.
Maybe these are guys.
All right, so that is all the
Wow.
business on today's agenda, so I'll need a motion to.
Are these
adjourn the
agendas
meeting.
getting shorter?
Second.
It's just chance, the last two have been so short.
Okay.